from that section, but I guess they were cooking and they had to decide, is the pain so much that I would rather cook, or does it hurt so much that screw it, I'm jumping. I mean, oh, what an awful choice to think of. That's your motor function making that choice. At that point, that's not even your brain making that choice.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, they were just they just made that decision out of reflex at that point.
I could see why it's haunted. My God, but yeah. Oh, that last night there were two people that were holding hands as they came out the building. They don't know if they knew each other or if they were just trying to get enough courage up to jump out together.
Right.
Yeah, and they still haven't identified all those people that they had pictures of jumping out of it.
I don't know if you guys heard of this, but some of the parts of people who died that day actually ended up in potholes in New York City, filling potholes. And this is from the New York Times. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a story about that. Oh. Unbelievable. They said they were still finding little pieces of bone fragment and stuff on the tops of adjacent buildings and so on.
Yeah, like I read
I remember hearing that.
Skeleton, like a little piece of their spine or something was on a windowsill over where they were. There was things like that. It was crazy. Oh, yeah. So
be careful.
I always thought it was creepy how they called the landfill where they took all of the debris and stuff fresh kills. Why would you name a land kill? That's so inappropriate, and to the victims and victims' families to name a landfill where you're taking all the debris. Fresh kills. Why did they do that?
You guys are creeping out the host. You guys are creeping out the host. She's getting creeped. Oh. she started having shivers.
Meanwhile,
down
they're
her
changing
back.
the baseball teams' names from the Indians.
Yeah,
we call it fresh kills.
Yeah.
They call them the Redskins, but fresh kills is okay.
That seems
I've actually heard something that you'd probably be the best person for answering that, MC. Now I heard that the Redskins are actually talking about changing their name back to the Redskins. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, but I would like to see that. I reckon. Yeah, certainly. Anything less woke.
A couple weeks ago, because we're from around here. Like I'm from, I worked at Miami University, and they called them the Redskins up there, but then they changed the name and took it away. But yeah, they're talking about bringing it back.
Wow.
Miami Redskins.
Okay. All right. And then
Red Hawks, Redskins, and
now I heard about that a little while back. It popped up on me. I figured I'd ask if it was true.
But when I grew up around here, it was always cool that we always knew there were Indians in Southwest Ohio, and we were proud of that. I never heard people.
It was never insulting to call your team the Redskins or the Indians or the Arrows because it made you look badass, Right. People thought your team was badass because it was named after Indians, so it wasn't politically incorrect or insulting. Yeah. It was never meant that way.
You went to school with Preble Shawnee Indians,
The Shawnee Arrows was our football and baseball team and stuff.
And
and
well, go on. I'm sorry.
It was the Talawanda Braves for you.
Mine was Talawanda Braves. And then, like I said, Miami University Red Hawks and Redskins. And then, everybody decided to get really politically correct and take it all away.
Well, that logo for the Washington Redskins, I think it was, that logo with the Indian head, that was actually based off of a Blackfoot chief, and his family made millions of dollars off of that logo when they were named the Redskins, and they wanted it brought back.
Yeah, like Aunt Jemima. So her family.
Or like how the Or like how Land O'Lakes, they were trying to be politically correct and not racist, but they removed the Indian from the package and kept the land.
Well,
Andrew Jackson did that too.
I have
You
an
know?
issue with the White Sox. I think that we need to reevaluate the name White Sox. That could be an issue for me. So
To make them Black Sox.
make them.
Well, they have that, right?
Make them
Chicago.
Make them lightly tan skin.
They do have Black Sox, don't they?
Oh, yep, Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, they do in Chicago.
Played for him for a little while. Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the alumni would come
Like a
back.
second baseman or something.
A lot of the alumni would come back at Miami and say, it's the Redskins, it's the Red Hawks, and I don't give a shit. But I'm like, whatever. I mean, So that's funny. But they are supposed to bring it back because, but
I'm gonna mute out because every time I talk to you, I get you off the thing. So I'm gonna keep quiet. This was a really good interview, so I just want to listen.
But
Oh yeah, that's great.
To wrap that up, though, my take on it, and I've talked to my boyfriend about it too, is and he's black, so he's like, when you come off like in New Orleans, you had all the statues and stuff with Robert E. Lee, and there's all the things there. They were for slavery and stuff, but it's a learning tool, and you can't erase it.
You have to preserve that history to remember it.
Yeah, and he's like, of course I don't think that, we're not glorifying them, though. We're just having them there for educational purposes. And just like in school, you don't want to erase what happened with slavery. So you don't want, if you erase it, then nobody knows. That's like acting like the Holocaust didn't happen. So
right, then you repeat it again. You gotta learn from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Look what's happening in Palestine right now.
Right.
Somebody didn't learn from their mistakes.
But they're starting to put some of the statues back, because we had a lot of the statues taken away, and put in storage. So I'm kind of glad about that, but
Yeah, I'm glad to see them starting to reverse course on that because we got to preserve our history. It's the only way we can move forward is to preserve it so we can learn from it.
And it's not always.
That's very important.
We're not proud of some of those things, but we can learn from them, I think.
No, but you can learn from them. That's and then people removing the Indian and keeping the land on the Land O'Lakes package, claiming to be politically correct. Well, you can't be political. That's racist. That's racist.
Back to that field, right? Right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
If both sides of that coin, right? I mean, one or the other.
Right. But
the Indian on that package wasn't even insulting. There was nothing offensive about it.
I'm surprised you didn't say her boobs were more insulting.
Well, Aunt Jemima.
Why? Because they were small.
Because they were boobs. Period.
Just because they were because.
So, the big old schlong there, maybe it'd be all right.
Oh, well, yeah, if we're trying to be politically correct with all the LGBT sort of stuff.
But she was actually a businesswoman, and actually for her race and her time, that was a big deal,
She was I think, America's first black millionaire.
Yeah.
Off of the business, and she was born into slavery and died America's first black millionaire. So she was a symbol of how far America came, and they erased her.
Black millionaire.
Hmm.
Huh?
Who was it? Who was this? America's
Aunt
first
Jemima.
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, I think Aunt Jemima was one of America's first first black millionaires, and she was born into slavery. You know, she was a symbol of how far America came.
She made that brand. She did it, but yeah.
Yeah, and her family, and again, her family to this day, or until when they got rid of her, was making millions of dollars off of.
I wonder how much them white folks were making, though. That you know what I mean. Let her make that $1 million. Just saying. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. She worked with businessmen. She had to back then. That's another thing that is kind of admirable, though, really. But I mean, that she could even navigate that.
She was able to navigate it at that time is amazing.
Yeah,
that is pretty incredible.
But back to hauntings. That's kind of haunting some of that stuff too that happened. But
all of it.
So I didn't read anything about the Pentagon and you know, any hauntings there. I didn't research any of that. So have you guys heard anything about anything like that, or?
I haven't heard anything about hauntings at the Pentagon, at the site of the Pentagon or anything. But I've heard my fair share of different theories about what happened there. So, you know, some people say a plane didn't hit it at all. Some people say it was hit by a bomb or a missile.
I wonder if all those planes were.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure exactly. I don't believe the official narrative at all anymore, really. I mean, I'm with MC Dirty Work on that one completely. I don't believe the official narrative. I don't know. I don't claim to know exactly what happened, but the official narrative, it's not even remotely believable, even with this surface level research.
What?
You don't have a dialysis machine 200 feet underground. It's there's so many parts of it that are just literally impossible.
Yeah. What do you think happened to the Pentagon? Do you think a plane crashed into it, or have you done much research on that aspect of?
Yeah, I have. I've researched all aspects of 9/11. Pretty hardcore, I think. Pretty legit. Now, well, the first thing is, did Flight 77 hit it? Because some people think Flight 77 hit it. Ryan Dawson believes Flight 77 hit it. Real quick, this will take 30 seconds. It blows my mind that such a astute researcher, especially into Middle Eastern affairs, as Ryan Dawson, could think that Hani Hanjour did, because a lot of people ask, so why not just go for the roof? Why not aim for the roof of the Pentagon? Why go for the outer E-ring? Why? And he says, well, this is very simple. He tried to go for the roof, realized that he was coming in on the wrong angle, so pulled out of that dive. Did the only thing he could do, which was a 270-degree corkscrew turn going from 6,500 feet in the air down to 37 feet in the air to not even scrape the lawn, yet smack directly into the outer E-ring of the Pentagon, which had just been refitted for this type of thing, for terrorist explosion, bomb. The outer E-ring, the rest was being fitted to be, refurbished.